Alright, we're live. Alright, this is episode 2 of the Dave's Had Enough show, which we still miss Meat, but he's not, I don't know when he'll come back. How's it going, vvolfflovv?
AKA Cesaro, what's up?
And we got Mizzah T, how's it going, buddy?
Hey fools, going great. Glad to be here.
And we got RXL209.
Good morning, gentlemen.
And we got my old buddy Chrono, which is now Zael.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Zael right here, joining this podcast for the first time.
Alright, there's been some news lately. There's a lot of E3 news and all that, but I heard one of the big things I've heard recently is that Ubisoft might be dropping support on Nintendo. They said that Ubisoft is not going to show anything to do with Nintendo at E3, and a lot of people are taking it that they're dropping support on, Nintendo, period. What do you think about this, vvolfflovv?
Oh, they're jumping to conclusions, man. That's all there is to it.
What about your thoughts, Mr. T?
It's the same old fools sitting around waiting for something bad to happen to Nintendo. So they'll jump on that. But, I mean, Assassin's Creed 4 wasn't supposed to be coming, and it came. Splinter Cell wasn't coming, and it came. So, this is how it is.
Now, wait, isn't last generation consoles supposed to get a Assassin's Creed version that's a sequel to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and next gen consoles are getting their own version? That's what I heard.
I hadn't heard that.
That's what I don't think's right. Why isn't the Wii U getting at least the last generation version,
Well, that's because the Wii U is current gen.
Well, it's not even getting that version, though.
But, I mean, that's just the typical third-party support shenanigans that we've had ever since launch, really.
Do you think that this means we might not get Watch Dogs for the Wii U?
Well, Ubisoft already said that they're fully focused on the Wii U version of Watch Dogs. I mean, this isn't an Aliens Colonial Marines situation where nobody has ever, really heard much about the Wii U version of the game, because Ubisoft has actively spoken about the Wii U version on multiple occasions.
And speaking of that, they recently hinted that they will be showing Wii U version of Watch Dogs at E3. So they're going back and forth. They're saying one thing on one hand, and then the other hand they're saying this. So,
RXL, did you see that version of the Wii U of Watch Dogs? I seen it. I mean, I can't really say I can show you what video it was because I took the video down. It didn't look too good. Did you see it? It was around the end of E3 last year. Somebody had it on YouTube.
No, I haven't seen any of the versions other than the PS4 version.
It looked like it'd be on the last. It looked like a last generation. It looked like the character. I keep forgetting his name, but he was all shiny, and the car was all shiny. What you were driving, but everything else around it was really dull. I don't know. And the people were talking in the commentary, of course, all bad stuff. It was like the people are bashing the Wii U and stuff, and then I didn't see that video. I went to show it to somebody. Someone went to look, and the video was taken down.
Well, there's no need to bash the Wii U, but we can come to the fucking conclusion that it's a last-gen system.
I have to disagree, of course.
You're mandated to by Nintendo corporate.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people going on the internet that Ubisoft is. I don't think Ubisoft would ditch the Wii U or anything, or Nintendo, but I don't understand why they wouldn't put if they're making a last generation version of Assassin's Creed, which is a sequel. I don't know why they couldn't put that version on the Wii U, because it's not, that Wii U can run that version.
I don't think Ubisoft is like ditching the Wii U, but they're certainly ditching like advertising for the Wii U and hyping up Wii U games, and they're ditching that aspect of it.
I mean, when have they done that other than like around the launch? They haven't really advertised any games for the Wii U.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Child of Light kind of snuck in on the Wii U. Like I didn't know it was gonna be on the Wii U. So
I did because I'm a Nintendo.
They're still like supporting the Wii. They're just not like really open about it.
They don't want to spend the marketing budget for Wii U. That's for sure.
They're like Nintendo's fan base. They're in the closet.
They're in the closet. Well, if you would go by, like Mr. T said before the podcast, if you would go by next gen, he's thinking that he had made a video I seen after I seen this on My Nintendo News. He made a video like Ubisoft is ditching Nintendo, and then he went like how Chrono, we were talking last week, he went on his whole spiel like he says in every other video, the whole thing about the Nintendo. I said it was the tablet craze, like how he just goes on in this every Nintendo video, he says the same fucking thing.
Yeah, that's
Then he pulls out his NES that he got on eBay. He'll never show any games for it, but he'll pull the console out, no hookups or anything.
And he showed Killer Instinct, the black version. He has that.
Well, he doesn't make videos.
When I would argue with him about the Wii U.
He makes them about titles.
Well,
Titles of the articles.
Well, yeah, because he said somebody sent him an article like today with the Mario Kart thing, and then all it was just him talking about what was on the literal title. Like he didn't say anything about what was actually said in the article.
Well, he leaves out what he'll announce something, and if they do change it or something, he never makes a video stating that they changed it. He just keeps it like the bad news. If it's to do with Nintendo.
Well, the Fox News of YouTube.
Yeah.
Basically. But the thing that kills me about Next Gen 720 is just like he does it like oh my god, somebody just needs to bang off in that nigga's face though, for real. You know what I mean? Because this fool, he'll say that he doesn't like Nintendo. He doesn't care if they come out with a more powerful console. He doesn't like the first party games. He knows they're not getting third party support. But he will constantly make videos about Nintendo. So, like, what is the point of this? I mean, I know it's views, but come on now. Like, it's redundant. And like Dave already said, he literally repeats himself in every video. Every Nintendo video, he says the same thing.
Well, if you really got to think like this, Chrono. Like, I used to be on the Wii U. I have my own problems with Nintendo. But when I noticed I was making videos, I'm like, damn, I'm doing the same video. You can only bash a company so much, like where it's gonna be the same fucking video after a while. Like you can't, I mean, unless they got something really bad going on every week,
Yeah, unless the issues you have with them change, the commentary on the console or the company isn't going to change because you're going to have the same issues. So when you start talking about them, you're going to be talking about the same thing. So I understand that.
Maybe Next Gen's hoping that Nintendo sees one of his videos or somebody, and I mean that's why he's putting the same speech in every video about Nintendo. But he's quick to like, if Nintendo does fuck up, like they're not getting Batman. He'll make a video who's like the gameplay's it's not Wii U.
No, all right. Speaking of Batman, that's actually what's hilarious because that's more proof he does absolutely no research. In that whole video he's talking about, what I mean, I'm glad that the Wii U ain't the market leader because it would have held this generation game back. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, he said some shit like, the new game is running in Unreal Engine 4. Well, if you actually looked at what the devs and stuff have said, they said it's a modified version of Unreal Engine 3. It's not Unreal Engine 4. So it's like, what are you talking about?
Well, they showed the new game. The gameplay looks great of that game. It's not, you don't see a lot of gameplay, but it's like trailer.
It's a little snippet, man. Like the little snippet that they show, it looks like the other games.
I was gonna say
it got delayed too. It got delayed too. Like a lot of these games are delayed. Mad Max. The list goes on.
Like actually, speaking of gameplay, the Order 1886 got a new gameplay, or if you want to call that gameplay, because
I didn't see that.
Like I remember I went on my Facebook. I was in troll mode. I said the Order 1886 looks like trash. You know what I'm saying? And then I had this dude talking about, what are you talking about, man? They show like a 2-minute gameplay video. I'm like, dude, like 1 minute and 45 seconds of that was in-game cutscenes. The rest of that was just like, oh hey, I got a gun. Let me shoot these dudes that just stand there not doing nothing.
I think it'll be a good game. That's one reason why I bought the PS4. I love those type of games. I like Gears of War. I don't know why. It's one franchise I do like of Microsoft. I played the shit out of it, especially multiplayer. And it reminds me of that game. That's why I think I like it. I don't like they didn't put a multiplayer into it, so it's like the same thing they did with Wolfenstein just recently. The game is getting some great reviews. The only asshole on the internet that I've seen give it any bad review is Broken Games. He's like sitting there playing it. He's like, this is just repetitive. You know, I was watching his like first impressions. I was like, man, everybody else gave it like an 8 or 9, you know, except him. Like, he bashed the game. I mean, he's like, I'll try to play it. I'm gonna try to play it a couple more hours, but just I ain't really feeling it.
Well, he ain't feeling it because he ain't got multiplayer. I mean,
Yeah.
the Gamer 23 cracks on him all the time about multiplayer.
Uh-huh.
Well, wouldn't you
Did
just play
anybody
Call of
pick up
Duty
Wolfenstein?
anyways?
What happened, Wolfflow? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm just saying, if you're gonna complain about there's no multiplayer, but then you're gonna just go back to whatever game that you're comfortable playing multiplayer playing anyways, then what's the point? I don't know.
He's still playing Titanfall.
Yeah.
Titanfall. People,
Yeah,
now Broken Games loves Titanfall. I see all his gameplay of that on there. I don't know. Did anybody hear the news about? Now I don't believe this, but they said that they got some model numbers for a PS4 and for Sony, and they said it's going to be a PlayStation Slim, but with a better graphics card. So they're trying to say that PlayStation 4 this year at E3 is going to be announced a new PlayStation Slim model with a better graphics card. Did you hear about that, RXL?
Are you talking PS3 or PS4?
Both. Like not PS3. PS3 is going to get a new model, but they were saying that the PS4 new model is going to have a better graphics card in it and more hard drive space. Already?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's already debunked itself simply because it says new graphics card. Like,
well, it's not. They said it's like a new graphics chip. I'm not a tech guy, but they said it's like a new graphics card, and they said that how they got this information. There's some new model numbers that showed up on the internet, and that's how they found out last time that the Slim was coming out.
I'll debunk that right now because I think we're going to get into it later. But they just started turning a profit on PS4, so they're not going to, do something that would up the cost again.
Well, that's what I've seen a couple videos on this, and that's what Broken Games said. He said that they would not. Why would they do that if they're making a profit? Like if they're doing good with the PS4, that's usually when they're not doing good. They make a new model and drop the price and all that. There's no reason for PlayStation to do that, Sony to do that with the PS4, but that's something I've been seeing a lot, and I was like, that sucks. I just, and they said that's all like the early edition models. That's if you go out and buy that. That's what somebody said, that you get, they make a newer model, and I don't see how they could have a better graphics card,
right.
graphics chip or whatever the hell it is.
Right, because if that was the case, then Nintendo should have did that a long time ago.
Yeah. Now, did they do that? Now, was the PS3 Slim? Did that have a better graphics card in it? I don't know. That's what I was listening to somebody in the comment section, but you know how that goes.
The only differences between the hardware that I notice when a new model comes out, generally on the Sony side, is that there are actually features being stripped, not being added. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they said. I didn't think it was true, but it is on. I've seen it on websites and stuff, so I don't know. It says, PS4 Slim to be announced at E3, a better graphics chip and more hard drive space, and more memory. Well, more memory. New PlayStation model numbers. That's where they're getting this information from. That's why they're assuming this.
In my opinion, it just sounds like they're making fun of Microsoft with all their little changes to the Xbox One.
Well, I heard Sony trolled Microsoft and Nintendo recently. They said that they're going to have a special event or something.
Yeah, like they're going to do something in their own way.
Yeah, it's a Sony Direct, and they just trolled Nintendo and Microsoft. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
They keep changing that Xbox One. I don't even know what the hell kind of console they're selling now.
The Xbox 180.
Is the
Does it have a
pre-orders
cup holder
really good
yet?
for that now? That it's dropped the Connect, or like are people rushing out to buy it now on Amazon?
Well, I doubt it.
No, I don't even think it's in like the top 50 or 100 of Amazon.
Yeah, probably according to Zaire, it's at the top of the list.
Yeah, the first day they announced it, and then it fell off.
Well, another thing, I guess, what I mentioned before the podcast, the Digital Foundry with Mario Kart 8 being a native 720p and runs at an average of 59 frames per second, and people are saying that Nintendo lied about this, but I've never seen Nintendo come out and say that they were going to have 1080p 60 frames a second. What do you think about this, vvolfflovv?
I never saw anything like that, so
What do you think about
I'm just
this,
kind of
Mr. P?
upset about the.
What do you think about this, Mr. P?
I'm only upset about the arenas not having arenas. Now they're using tracks for battle mode. So
Are they
kinda
not going to have
annoying.
arenas, Mr. T, or
No.
no?
Well, what they did is they instead of having like a battle arena, the battling is going to be done on tracks, which I don't like that either. I used to love the battle arenas, especially one of my favorites was the N64 ones.
The block for
Yeah, the block for it was awesome. So
yeah.
I have a feeling that they might do some DLC with that, and we'll get the battle arenas eventually. But yeah, that's the only thing that bothers me. And yeah, Nintendo never said what the frame rate was going to be. They never said what the resolution was going to be.
I never heard them
rarely,
say that.
they rarely, if ever, do that. You guys pointed out that Sakurai mentioned 60 frames per second on Smash Brothers, but that makes sense because it's a fighting game. You want to know about that kind of stuff. Yeah, Nintendo never said that, so you know, it was actually Eurogamer who was putting the rumor out there, and it was just a rumor, you know. So say la vie.
Well, but the thing about that is, like, rumors nowadays are taken as fact, which is silly.
Right, all the time, especially in this community. Rumors are facts now.
I don't think people should be worried about like 1080p or like 59 frames per second on a Nintendo game, especially a kart racer. They should be more worried about the constant stuttering of the frame rate.
Right. I mean, I know, and you know, to add to that, Digital Foundry. How many times have we seen, you know, games on Digital Foundry where they're talking about, the game runs at 30 frames per second or it runs at 60 frames per second, and that game drops to 20 and 19 for 30 frames, or even 15 I've seen. And the 60 frame per second games drop down to 40, 45, and you don't hear this outcry for that. But we're talking one frame here. You know,
well, that's where this generation's going. People care about resolution. I don't see the difference in like 720p and 1080p. I do sometimes, like with like Infamous Second Son. You could see that game looks beautiful on, you know, if you're playing on a 1080p TV. But really, you normally don't see that shit, so it don't matter to me. But that's like a big thing now. Resolutions matters to people. Like, it never did back in the day, like, you know.
Well, that's just because gamers nowadays are that bored that that's significant information.
And you know, the funny thing is that these dudes that complain about resolution, they gaming on 20-inch screens and 32-inch screens.
Yeah.
You know, screens that you won't even see the difference. So it's a joke. It's a joke.
What's it called? I was gonna say, oh yeah, because we're supposedly, you know, it's bad when people are still saying next generation. You know what I'm saying? Because that just proves that there has not been a single game that is quote unquote next generation.
I agree.
Well, for one, I think people are misreading that Mario Kart article. It's not about that the game runs at a 59 frames per second. It's that at every like 64 frames, it's producing a multiple frame and it's causing it to stutter. I think that's kind of the whole point of the article.
Really? Because I downloaded the, I forgot what website had the 60 frame per second video. You can download it. And I watched it quite a few times. I didn't see, the game looks beautiful. It runs beautiful from what I see. I haven't seen, you know, not with my naked eye, that there is a problem as they're stuttering. I wish I could upload it, but YouTube don't, doesn't do 60 frames, so wouldn't make it.
Yeah, I'm just going by what they're reporting. So that was kind of
Yeah. I don't got what you're saying. I'm just saying that from my experience, I've played it. I've seen it, and from my experience, I haven't seen anything wrong with it. So I don't know.
It looks great to me for what it is. It looks fantastic. I'm pretty hyped for it. I got my pre-order Friday. I'll be getting that.
Can you play it at GameStop?
That's what I was thinking. I heard somebody I was typing to somebody in the comment section. They said they had it at GameStop. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what somebody said.
Yeah. Some GameStops have what do you call it? Demo kiosks for it.
That'd be cool. Hopefully today when I get my pre-order for paid off for Watch Dogs, I can play it. I'd like to try it out. I got 3 GameStops in my town, so one of them should have it if they're doing that.
Oh man.
I just wonder why Zael's so concerned about Mario Kart being 720p when most of Xbox One's exclusives are like 790p.
Oops.
Well, if he's popping out like 3 or 4 videos a day, you got it. I mean, he's running out of content to talk, so of course he's going on about anything he can. But I mean, that's a big issue to him.
What he really talk about is how the Wii U, as weak as it is, has a game that looks better than Titanfall, which he praises to high heaven.
Yeah.
He praises it to high heaven. I wish he played it.
Well, did you see? Oh, go Chaperna.
The moment you get killed by an AI that takes you like 5 seconds to actually kill you, you need to stop playing the game.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I have this game, right? And every time I run across like a group of bots, I'm like, I can't get killed by these bots. I can't look like Zael.
Xbox.
It's like I watched my friend play that game on his PC, and I'm just like, every time I'm watching him like run into a horde of bots because they crowd together. You know what I'm saying? And he just sits there eating bullets like a champion and just kills all of them, no problem. So I'm like, how the hell did Zael get killed by this thing?
That's called not playing games and being more about YouTube. He's not a gamer.
Oh, shots fired.
That's what I mean. I never thought that guy played games at all.
Well, I mean, have you seen his Killer Instinct gameplay? Like he's button mashing clearly. Like, but what's sad?
I did see that.
The people actually lost him.
I did see that. He's just like.
That's called YouTube addiction. That's what he has.
Like,
he's addicted to talking about video games, but he don't like playing them.
Nah, actually, I think he's just addicted to talking. Period. Because notice how his stories have stories.
Yeah. Well, did you see? I watch his podcast every week. Usually, I watch his channel. I like his channel because it's fun to watch some information that's wrong and how he talks about it. And, misleads everybody. And I guess John Doe, and I like this stuff because when you watch, like our podcast that we're in right now, we all are different gamers. Like RXL is a Sony gamer, I'm Sony and Nintendo, vvolfflovv's Sony, I don't know if he has a Nintendo or not, Mr. T's Nintendo, and he games on PC, right? And you're PC too, Chrono, and RXL. Everybody's different. If you look at Next Gen's podcast, you got all Xbox in there. But I thought it was great how they go on about The Last of Us being a remake and Sony's remaking games and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you see the Master Chief collections coming out. It's a rumor. And John Doe didn't agree with that. He's like, hey, man, we've been bashing for fucking months Sony for this. I don't think it's right. And then they all kick him out of the podcast because he disagrees. That's wrong. I don't give a damn what anybody says in this podcast. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I don't like, when you're watching somebody and they're all the same fucking bullshit and you're just cheering on Microsoft the whole time when they know Microsoft's really fucking up half the time.
Well, I mean, go ahead, bro.
Zael should be pretty excited for The Last of Us because his whole excuse for not picking it up on the PlayStation 3 was that he was done with the last generation of gaming, and he was just waiting for next gen consoles. If that was the case, I mean, he hasn't played The Last of Us. He should be really excited for it because it's a new game to him.
Did he play God of War Ascensions? Because I think there was one game he actually said he was picking up that they're remaking. But I don't remember. I think it was it God of War Ascensions or no?
He beat that.
I thought he had that game.
Oh, okay, maybe he had that. Maybe it was another game that they're remaking that he was hyped. Yeah, he makes a lot of bullshit. Like, I just think that was an excuse for him not to play games no more and just talk about them more. So now he's in Next Generation and he has no excuse, But I didn't agree with them how he's hyping up the Halo Master Chief Collection, but he don't think it's right. So every video I hear him bashing Sony for The Last of Us, the remake, and they kicked the poor guy out of the podcast. And he started it. I watched his videos. Like, I kind of started this with Dark Holy and Next Gen, and then, he gets a bunch of Xbots in there, like Crap Gamer, and he takes their side and kicks his buddy out. That shit's wrong,
Well, well, I mean, Next Gen is the guy who gets on camera talking about everybody he knows gets shot, and he clearly doesn't care because he talks about it like it doesn't mean anything.
Xbox gamers are in a desperate place right now.
What do you guys think?
They're more desperate than us Nintendo dudes.
They are actually, because like Nintendo's kind of does its own thing. It's not really in a competition with Sony and Microsoft. They do their own thing.
Not to mention, dude's daughter is in the hospital, and he makes a video at the hospital. What the hell is that?
I don't know. He's on pills, you know that too, right? So, I mean, I used to do a lot of pills. So when you're on pills, he gets prescribed them, but still, I know a lot of people abuse pills that are prescribed them. I used to. You're not thinking in the right mind. You're shooting videos with your daughter at the hospital. You got your daughter eating out of the rabbit cage. You got all kinds of shit. You're not aware. You're not coherent with everything, But that's what happened. Did you ever see when he's like talking at the end of the video? He's like, I'm just about to pop another Oxy. Like, that's why he's going on about shit. He don't know what he's talking about. He's you mix Xanax with OxyContin, you're in another world. So.
Well, damn, this podcast just made a turn.
Nah, man, like when he mentioned that rabbit cage, that shit remind me of Black Bond's video. he said this was talking about he has a dog and a cat. I guess you forgot about that rabbit cage that you're eating off.
Yeah, he has the pizza right on the rabbit cage. That's like just disgusting. Like, you have all kinds of feces and all kinds of shit around the food. It's just, I don't know, that's disgusting. And he just don't care about it. He's all like fucked up and he's just sitting there talking about Xbox. He's like, yeah, and the little kids wandering around falling into walls. I don't know.
That just proves you gotta play on the Xbox One.
But yeah, another thing that's going on that I want to talk about, which it brings into Next Gen, but I'm not trying to talk about him. The Halo collection. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's good that they're doing this? They're going to do one through, I guess, the whole series. I thought it was just from the second one and on, but I guess they're doing the first one too. They're remastering it, and they're going to pretty much sell it as a whole collection for $60. It's a rumor, but what do you think about that?
Well,
they sell it for $60. That's BS.
But do you think it's everybody bashes Sony for this? That they're remastering games. Do you think it's a trend now? I think, and that ain't the only one. They're remastering Metro Last Light, and they're going to do both of them, and they're going to either let you buy them for $20 a pop or the whole thing for $50. I mean, do you accept this as all these rehashes?
I typically don't have a problem with rehashes, but I have a problem when it's a year later. The game just came out. I mean, I don't have a problem with you re-releasing the game, 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, but a year. I mean, if that's the case, why didn't you save the game for the next gen console? Why not just?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Because that would have been more hype than putting it out here and then then a year later putting it out on your new console. That's, to me, I don't like that. I mean, I don't hate it, but you have the choice. You buy it or don't buy it. So I don't really care, but I don't like the practice. It seems like you said. It seems like it's a trend with Metro coming now. Tomb Raider, how many editions that came out with. I mean, that's that's clearly about making money. That's not about
Well,
servicing the
they're
game.
like, oh, we'll give you all the DLC, and you're gonna get this and that, and then everybody's like, oh, that's worth it. Like I said in other podcasts, I do like The Last of Us, and I wish I didn't trade in my PS3. I actually sold it after I bought my PS4 because I didn't think I'd go back and play it. It never happened any other generation. But I miss playing The Last of Us. I will play it, but I'm just saying now I'm seeing God of War Ascensions, Metro Last Light. They're doing the whole series, which, it's a good deal. You get both of them. If you never played them, that's great. But I don't see how they want people that played them to buy these games again. And, it's just, I don't think it's right because if they keep doing that, they're just going to always do that, and we're never going to get new IPs. We're just going to keep getting old stuff, And if people keep accepting it, then we're just going to get it,
I kind of got
my problem
a different
with
opinion
Nintendo.
on
A lot
it.
of people accept what Nintendo does, and that's why Nintendo keeps going on about what they're doing. Microsoft fans, I will give them this. They bitched enough about the Kinect to where they got rid. It's not gone, but you don't have to have the Kinect.
Well, actually, it wasn't the Microsoft fans bitching about the Kinect. It was everybody but Microsoft fans bitching about the Kinect. Because I mean, when they said they were taking the Kinect out, I mean, you got crap gamers out here in the same podcast talking about, nah, man, you're missing like all the experience if you don't have the Kinect.
I feel that you kind of are, because I think that's what separates that console. And this is me. I just think that'd be cool, because I watch TV and stuff. I would like that the features it has. Yeah, you can use your remote, but I just think it's cool. If I did buy an Xbox, I would want the Kinect. I know other people don't want it. I would, but I'm still not going to rush out and spend $449. It comes with type. I'm not at that point yet. I got a PS4 and a Wii U. I don't quite need the Xbox yet. I will get it though, but I would want the Kinect. That's just me. I even want the camera for the PS4. I just, I like to have all the accessories, but I could understand somebody not wanting it, I look at both sides of the thing.
Well, I got a couple of opinions. Like, going back to the collections thing, like, I love collections. Like, I buy all kinds of collections as long as I haven't played them, like Ratchet and Clank collection and Jack and Daxter. I mean, for like $40 that they cost, or even 60. I mean, you get like 60 hours out of those collections.
Man,
But the difference between like Ratchet and Clank, the difference between those games is that those games came out 5, plus years ago. So it doesn't, enough time has gone by to where, yeah, okay, I'll take all these games in one, and that's a good price, and you got the up-res visuals and all that stuff, so that's fine. But what I'm saying is, a year later, like, why didn't they just push Last of Us to the launch of PS4 and offer one on PS3 and one on PS4? That would have helped. I think that would have helped people have more games for the PS4 initially, and that's a big game. That would have been a big game to launch the PS4 with. So it would have been even more hype, and instead of just putting it out, getting your money from it, and then trying to get your money again, because we know ain't no backwards compatibility, and I don't think that was a mistake. I don't think that was a coincidence that PS4 has no backwards compatibility, because now they can sell you PS3 games again on PS4.
Yeah,
that's what they seem to be doing. That's the problem I have with it. I don't have a problem with collections. I got collections myself, but I just don't like the practice of a year later trying to get your money again for the same game. It's a little prettier. That's the problem I have.
I don't know why that call dropped.
Man, I've been playing the Tales of Symphonia collection. That's a really old game, and it still looks like crap. The remake, but it's amazing, man. I've been glued to that game. I'm playing the second one now, and I've played it all week. I just can't tear myself away. Every hour of every day, man.
You don't even. If you bring up Tales of Symphonia, I can go off all day about that game. Man, I beat that junk like 10 times, man, straight, like legit. And it wasn't even like short playthroughs. Like, it was actually me spending hours.
It's good, man. Mm.
Like, yeah.
I wish that when how you go into the battle instances in these kind of JRPGs, right? If you could go into the instance and it's like a full-out, intense fighting game, like Street Fighter 2, and you're pulling combos and everything, and your buddies are in there taking part. That would be sweet, man. And
Well,
it's a perfect.
Actually, speaking of RPG like that, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. But have you heard of the indie RPG Shinus?
No.
Okay, you might want to look that up because when you're saying like full-on combos and like fighting game type stuff, if you look at the combat system, that's what it reminds me of.
Wow, sweet, man. Check that out. Yeah, indies. There's
Yeah, indies are
some good
stepping
indies
it up.
out there.
Indies are stepping it up.
No
Well,
doubt.
another thing that's going on that I don't have a problem with, because I don't have a problem against gay people, but Far Cry 4, the main villain is gay and people are upset about it. What do you guys think about that? I don't have a problem with it.
Honestly, I just think that's Ubisoft's method of trying to continue the controversial type character. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Because Voss was like such a good character, and everybody was like, "Yo, Voss, bro." But it didn't like now that giving us like some Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory looking dude.
But they're going to put homosexual scenes in the game now.
Yeah, see, I have a problem that is controversial. That in this day and age, I feel like we should be past that. But I feel on the same note, I think you're right, Chrono or Zael, excuse me, that they're doing it because of publicity. That's why they're doing it, and they know that people will get upset and people will be talking about it, and that'll probably spike their sales a little bit. So, on the one hand, it's stupid that putting a homosexual character in a game is controversial at this point, but it's also stupid that companies do that for publicity. So.
Hey,
Yeah,
so
but where are they going to go? What I don't understand, they're putting a gay person in the game. Are they going to be doing homosexuals? Because there's cutscenes in Ubisoft and Far Cry. You know that. Are they going to be doing like homosexual scenes? 'Cause I don't think that's right. Because, in my opinion, like you got kids that play these games. You want them learning about homosexuals? That's just me.
What
Yeah,
does
I don't think you should learn about sexuality of any kind. in video.
I mean, that's just me. I don't think I'd want my kid playing a game with a gay guy touching another guy. It's not, to me, a guy can do what he wants, but I don't think they should be exposing kids to that shit.
But isn't Far Cry a mature title? Your kids shouldn't be playing it to begin with.
Yeah,
so.
but, kids play Grand Theft Auto and stuff. Well, they had the Ballad of Gay Tony. I never thought of that. That's true.
I understand that, but again, that's the parents' problem. They have to deal with that. Ubisoft can do what they want to do as long as they follow the rules, and they follow the rules. They've given it a mature rating. So I'm sorry that some games are movies too. It's not just games. Some movies are watched by people that shouldn't be watching them. That's up to the parent to take care of, not Ubisoft. So
Yeah.
what happens in Brokeback Mountain stays in Brokeback Mountain.
I just think they're going a little too far with stuff nowadays. There's stuff on TV, they used to at least wait until 11 o'clock to show certain things. They're showing shit in the afternoon, that you would not usually see back in the day until 11 o'clock at night. At least they don't. It's like they don't give a shit no more. They put everything out there, and I think this is why the world's fucking nuts. They don't care anymore.
Reality TV is a cancer. Society. That's the problem. That's the difference. The influx and the popularity of Jerry Springer reality TV. That's the problem.
I agree.
What do you think about this, RXL? Are you happy with homosexuals in Far Cry 4? I need your take on this.
I'm a real selfish bastard. I don't care what these homos are doing. It's such a non-issue to me.
Yeah, they make too big of a deal out of it, man. Look at me.
I'm
gay. Who cares, man?
Friends in my life that were straight, and then later on down the road, they're fucking both ways, but that's fine. I knew the dude his whole life, whatever. But it's different when they're actually putting this on TV, and, you might have a kid that sneaks around the corner and plays Grand Theft Auto, and he's learning this shit. That's what I don't think's right. I mean, that kid's going to grow up, little kids are going to ask you questions like, I watch one that's 8 years old, and he's asking me about the abortion clinic yesterday. I was riding down the road, and I was talking to his mom. They're holding signs out. They're like, yeah, we kill babies here. And he's asking me, he's like, did the police know that they're killing babies, Dave? And like shit like that, I don't think should be shown. Like, it's too open to everything.
But here's the problem.
Nowadays, it's okay. Everything's okay. I don't think it's right.
The problem is that to use your example, those people have children in their crowd, you know, holding up signs saying bloody babies killed here and all that kind of stuff. That's equally as terrible in my book, you know, because you're indoctrinating these kids before they even really have an understanding of what's going on. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I agree with that to a certain extent. But, again, parents got to be parents, you know. If the kid asks you a question, you got to answer it. You can't, you know, you can't expect TV and video games and society to raise your kids. You got to do that yourself.
Well, you know, I was pretty young when I knew that I liked chicks, like really, really young. I don't think from that point on, anybody or anything could have convinced me to like the weenie.
Exactly, 100% agree.
No.
Well, I mean, also, it kind of comes down to the individual itself. I mean, because I was young when I started playing games. I was like 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like you said, most kids shouldn't be playing certain types of games. But, I mean, I was fucking playing Mortal Kombat, you know, on the Sega Saturn. And at that point in time, I was 5.
Well, that's how I grew up too. I was allowed to watch porno when I was little. My mom knew I knew right from wrong. She, you know, I'm just saying, we used to break into my brother's porno thing and get it open, and me and my little friend would be sitting there, well, woo, it's the boobies, you know, we're just little laughing about it.
Yeah,
and, you know, but I didn't grow up to be a crazy person. But there's some kids that get exposed to that shit and might go off the fucking wall. You know, I see.
Because they're loony.
You know, I don't know. I just think what I'm saying, I think they're just putting too much out there. They're not leaving anything, you know, imaginable no more. They're just showing you everything nowadays, and I don't think that's right. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm sort of in the camp in which I'm not necessarily a fan of keeping reality hidden, because I'm one of those it is what it is type of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world is jacked. There's no denying that. But, I mean, if you're going to... Because then you get to the point where if you're too overprotective, then that could be a traumatic experience once finally exposed to it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you know, my mom, she was a huge horror movie fan. And so everything she watched, I watched. So I grew up watching bloody ass stabbings and you know, all kinds of stuff in those old horror movies from the 70s and 80s. So, and you know, I think I turned out okay. You know,
well, that's how I watched.
Yep.
They showed me The Exorcist at 6 years old. My dad thought it was funny, but I got scared. You know, I turned white and everything. I'm a little kid. I remember that day watching that movie when I was young. But there is some people that can't watch that shit. I had a friend. He used to come over to my house, and because my mom let us watch horror movies, like, he acted different. We were watching the Chainsaw Massacre, the older one, the 70s version one of it, and he was flipping out, man, when he went home that night, and his mom's calling my mom, what did you show my son? And my mom got in a lot of trouble for that. Like, some people can't watch that stuff. It makes them out there.
Right, but I mean...
I look at it both sides, you know.
Right, I know exactly... I do the same thing. I know exactly what you're saying, but then that just proves that there's absolutely no middle ground to that. You're going to have one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, we used to watch, you know, WWF. It was WWF back then, and we after watching it, we get a mattress, and you know, we try to do the moves and stuff. So, you know, kids are gonna, you know, try to emulate, you know, certain things that they see, and that's natural. But again, you know, if the parents are watching like they should be, it shouldn't be a problem, because you should be able to sit down and talk to your kids and tell about certain things. Like when I was a kid, gay people were around. You know, I was like 7 years old. I remember I had a friend. He was clearly gay at 7, and I knew it. He knew it. You know, it was just a thing. It's just
but
that
it wasn't as open as
right,
it was.
that's what I'm saying. Today, it's more acceptable.
How
than it
old
was
are you?
back then.
I'm 30. How old are you? You're like, oh, you're older than me, right?
I'm a couple years older than you.
Oh, okay. Now, back in the day, you didn't see fucking homos kissing each other about 10 years ago. Nowadays, you can go walk outside and they're making out and shit. I don't agree with that, because back in the day, you get a fucking gay bashing. I mean, that's just how it was.
I grew up in New York, so.
But yeah, that's where I'm from. I'm from New York, and you just didn't see people kissing on the street corner, two guys. It was, but now it's all accepted, and it's crazy to me. But I'm with you too. I don't have nothing against it. If that's what somebody does, that's their thing. But I see the wrong side of it too. You know.
It's this whole conversation reminds me of when I watched El Presidor's video about Michael Sam and how everybody's making him out to be a hero, and he's like, for what?
Well, I don't know. They have that. I don't know if the guy's a good. I like basketball, but I don't watch football. If the guy's a good player, that's cool. Whatever. If he's getting promotion and he's a shitty player just because he's gay, I don't agree with that. But I don't.
Yeah, like because he was talking about how he got a call from Barack Obama and all this stuff, and like he was going on talking about he's not even that good. Like he's like I'm a hero because I like pussy. Where's my award? I want a call and stuff like that. Like he's like, it was absolutely hilarious. You
don't see straight pride parades and shit like that. Like,
yeah, you do. Every other parade is a straight pride parade.
Yeah, because he even brought that up. He said he's like it kills me that in today's society, gay people want to be treated as equals, but whenever they come out, they're like, hey, they make a big deal out of it. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're purposely trying to grab attention.
For the most part, gay people are, they just want to be accepted. They're fine. They're, members of society like everybody else. The problem is you have the activist gay person that ruins it for everybody. That's when, that's what people usually get upset about because they go, they go to the extreme, with everything instead of, because nothing's gonna change overnight. It's gonna take time for people to accept anything.
Yeah.
So, but you have a group of people that want to push and want to make it happen right now. But slavery took 400 years to get rid of. So these things have to work their way through society. You can't force them. You can't push them. You just gotta let them happen.
Yeah,
I only know of two kinds of homos: regulars and flaming.
Well, I know of this is a weird case. I had a girlfriend one time. She had a gay friend, and that motherfucker went both ways. I didn't know it until later on down the road where he screwed my girlfriend. He was gay as shit. You'd be around him, you thought he was straight gay. And then later on I found out that he liked girls too. But there's them too. They're under the radar. You're like, in the closet, but they're not.
Lego City in the cover.
Both ways. I don't know. I have a lot. But the thing is, you might think I hate gay people. I don't. I have gay friends, but I'm just saying I don't agree with how it's shown everywhere. Like people kissing on the street corner, and it's on TV. Now it's in video games. And I forgot about the Ballad of Gay Tony. That was like they had that. I think that was one of the first gay things going on. But now they're putting a main gay villain in the game. But I see the right, both sides of the story. That's how I look at everything.
Now gay people will be mad because of the villain.
I just don't. I wonder if they're gonna do a cutscene of him like sleeping with a dude, or are they just gonna? Is he have a gay voice? Does he just look gay? I don't know. Like we don't know that yet.
Well, I mean, look gay and have a gay voice. I mean, it's like some dudes you can't tell. So, and that's fine. So,
well, what makes him gay? Like that's what I'm trying to understand. Did Ubisoft come out and say we got a gay character? He is for sure gay. Like how are people knowing he's gay? Does he look?
But that's the point, though. There'll probably be little hints about him being gay. But does that add or take away from his character? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No,
why make that
to me
point?
it don't.
I'm saying, why would Ubisoft make that a point if it didn't add to his character? If it adds to his character, that's one thing. Like in let's say what's the last James Bond movie? Skyfall.
Mm-hmm.
Like him being gay added to his character. The villain. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
I
If it-
never.
if it doesn't-
I like James. I never got to the later ones. I watched the earlier.
Okay.
ones.
Well,
I know which one you're talking about, though.
yeah, the main villain was he was gay, and that added to his character because he was messing with Bond, James Bond a little bit, and it added some comedy and some nuances to it. So if it doesn't add to the game, you're just doing it for publicity. I have a problem with that.
Maybe it does.
I don't have a problem with the guy being gay. That's that's stupid.
But I just wonder, did Ubisoft come out and say he's a homosexual, or did people just assume that
No,
he's gay?
Ubisoft said he's gay.
Oh, okay.
See, why are they announcing it now? Why wouldn't they just leave it in
They're
the
like,
story
hey, we
and
got
you
a new
could-
character. The guy's an hermaphrodite. Like,
Yeah.
they would do that.
Well, Ubisoft is, in my opinion, notorious for killing all hype for all their games,
That's crazy.
and they are also very bad at optimizing their games.
True that.
I see.
Like if you actually go to N4G right now, which I just did, like earlier in the podcast, I'm pretty sure you hear me say something like in the background that has nothing to do with what y'all talking about. It's because PC players who have gotten their copy of Watch Dogs are reporting terribly low frame rate
I
and constant stuttering.
saw that. Mm-hmm.
See
Yeah,
that
it's pretty bad,
that
man.
goes back to the delays. It's like I have no problem with delays if the game that you ship is better for it. But if you have a delay and you put the game out and it's still broken, come on,
Broken.
Yeah.
that's a joke.
There's a lot of games delayed too. I don't know. The thing with Watch Dogs, what Ubisoft said, they put a lot more content in it. With their delay. And people.
Worried about content, make the damn game better.
Yeah. Well, now people have been saying that this game is like, it could be just a driving game. It's that good. Like, the driving is so great. Some people are claiming that the driving in this game is better than Grand Theft Auto's driving. And they said it could be anything like a hacking game. You're getting a bunch of games in one. That's what they're saying. They say if you like Assassin's Creed, you're getting that game. And if you like the Splinter Cell series, you're getting that game. If you like driving games, they said this game could pretty much be its own driving game. It's that good.
Man, I was looking at
I'm hyped for it.
the driving. I was looking at the grass while they were driving, as they were driving through the grass over the train tracks, and it looked like they were just driving on a highway, like just right over the tracks. It
didn't look good. I liked how
driving.
the lady got in an accident, how they were acting. She's like yelling in the car. I thought it was really cool. But they said something like the guy played a demo and he shot a TV in the pawn shop, and that TV, blew up and everything. And then he shot another one. It was like shooting at the wall.
Right.
So hopefully, but he said that was the demo from E3 last year. So he said he didn't play the newer version. He just that's what they had at the press conference or the release party. You got to play the demo from last year. So hopefully that's all fixed with all this time that they had to delay the game and all that crap. Because I heard it was because of Grand Theft Auto. They want to release it around the same time. I'm not sure.
All right, I'm gonna put my input on this real quick.
Okay.
First of all, I don't care about Watch Dogs at this point. We've known about it for years. Okay, like
we've been hearing about Bayonetta for 3 years.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
we've heard about Watch Dogs longer than that. So
I just had to throw that in there.
yeah,
Nintendo's
but
won 3 E3s in a row with that same Bayonetta.
But you only heard about it. You didn't get a trailer until the second time around, and the game is looking better every time you see it. Unlike some of these other games that subsequently look worse on the way out. So
yeah, that's
I'll just
true.
throw that
But
out there.
Now, I will say this about Watch Dogs. I am hyped about Watch Dogs. I'm letting you talk, Rob. I'm not trying to jump in. But I did look at the live stream of it because people actually got the game now. Like, they're on PlayStation right now. And I know the quality ain't that good with Twitch. I don't know. For me, it looks different from when I actually play the game. But it does look a little bit different from what we were shown at E3 last year. To me.
It looks like a last-gen game.
Yeah, that's what because there's people in the comments, they're going, this looks like PS3, and they're claiming that the PS4 version is hands down the best,
honestly, I want that game to get bad reviews.
That's not nice.
You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm tired of all these games that just receive a ridiculous amount of hype, and then the game gets released, gets amazing scores, but then like you don't hear nothing about it like 2 months after it's out.
That's every game though, and that's
No,
what I'm
no,
noticing.
that's not even every game. Because even still to this day, you have people talking about Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Well, that's now one thing I'll say. Nintendo fans, they take like a lot of pride in their games. I'll give them that. The Sony fan base and the Microsoft fan base, like a game will come out, and you might hear about it for a little while, but then it's like they're on to the next thing. I talk about games like if I like a game, I'll go on about it for.
I don't completely agree with that because there's games on PS2 especially that I still talk about today. Like I can't even. It's funny. I'm talking about a game. I can't remember the damn name of it.
Well, I mean in like nowadays, like the generation now. That's what I'm trying to say.
So from
But
8th generation or 7th generation up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
But that
Infamous comes out. You don't hear about Infamous like a month later. Like, all I heard about, though, for 6 months was how Infamous was going to be so damn great.
but
And then
that's
the damn thing comes out 2 weeks later. I don't hear shit about it.
just because that's every Sony game for the most part. I mean, look how much hype the Oilers get.
Uncharted 2 was,
No, Last of Us I heard a lot. I liked the last. I thought that was the greatest game ever. You know, but that dessert, I mean, I don't, that's just me. I love that game.
No, but I mean,
Uncharted 2 is my favorite PS3 game, so.
Mm-hmm.
no, but I mean, what I'm getting at is that it feels like the games are coming out in such frequency, in which the memorability is like at an all-time low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know
Because
what you're saying.
yeah, because people can go on like your vvolfflovv. That's what your name
Yeah.
is. Yeah. When you mentioned Tales of Symphonia, I had a ton of memories pop up. And like I was talking about how I beat that game 10 times, and like I can do that for a lot of games before Gen 7.
Yeah.
But Gen 7, I'm just like I don't care.
You
Well,
gotta
but
look
Here's the main.
inside the box sometimes to find them. Go on.
The main problem is this, and I think y'all agree. You will agree, is that because of the yearly release, games are getting watered down. You know when Assassin's Creed is coming out in another year from the last one you bought. You know what Call of Duty is coming out in another year from the last one you bought. You know, well, maybe not Battlefield every year, but it's every 2 years at least. You
I
know
think
that's
there's
coming.
Battlefield
So-
this next year, too.
Right. So the hype that surrounds from waiting a couple years, 3 years or whatever. That's why GTA games do so well,
Yep.
especially initially, because they don't come out as frequently. They come out every 3 to 5 to 6 years. So you're more hyped and you're more ready for that game, and it lasts a little bit longer. But when you got a game that comes out every year, and they're already talking about the sequel before the original is out, then you just lose a little bit of that luster. That you lose a little bit of what what makes games fun for years to come. Because again, before you're able to appreciate that game, the next chapter's coming out, so you don't have that same love for it.
Well, that's like Battlefield 5. They're already talking about that, and Battlefield 4 still didn't even get all its DLC out yet, and then I heard that E3 they're going to show a trailer for the Battlefield DLC, or are they talking about, or maybe they were talking about Battlefield 5, the DLC. I don't know, because there's still DLC coming out for 4. We still got two more DLCs that are supposed to come, and they're, the game ain't, I don't see, I'm agreeing with you. I don't see how they just hype up, they're not, that's, the hype dies, the games are released too much.
Like also I will input that I still do not know how people are hyped for Final Fantasy 15. We've known about that game for 10 years, people.
I'm not hyped.
No,
I
here's
lost my hype.
back to Battlefield. If I have to buy the game and then I have to buy a season pass to play the game, nah, I don't care about that shit, man. Why am I paying for a fucking season's pass? I'm paying for the game twice already.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing. Now I'm gonna be a hypocrite. I'm gonna tell you straight up. GTA 5 just the other day I spent $50 and I bought fucking microtransactions, and I fucking hate microtransactions. But there I go, fucking spending my money on microtransactions.
What did you spend, Michael? Did you pay for the money?
Yeah, because
I could have taught you a glitch. I glitched $1 billion.
Oh no, I did that.
There's-
But I ran money pretty
there's
fast.
a ton of glitches.
Fix that.
Yeah, they put me in the cheaters pod though, or the room, or like, cause I kept glitching with the car, but I did not agree with that. GTA, and I'm gonna be honest, you got mixed feelings about that game. I love that story. I thought that was one of the greatest stories in the game. I like the crazy Trevor. I thought he was one of the best characters ever. But I did not agree with the online, how you had to pay for I had to pay $20 for GTA money. Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
stupid.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal. But people that have jobs and they don't want to spend all that time to do it, they're gonna buy it, and it's gonna work. They're gonna keep buying it.
That
They know
to me
that.
could have been a very. I hope that game. Now that's one game I'm gonna accept when it comes to next gen if they do it right. If they add more people into the room instead of 16, like if we have 50 players in a match, in a server, that'd be great. That's what I hated.
It should be
about
the same
GTA.
server. Wouldn't it be the same server as the PS3 or Xbox?
No, it's gonna have its. It would have its own
Oh,
server,
really?
right, Mr. T?
What's that?
Would it have its own? It would have its own. It would have its own. Like PS4 has its own server than PS3. Right? I'm not a tech guy, so I don't know.
I think that's one of the things that PS4 doesn't have dedicated servers for each game. I don't think they do. I'm not sure.
Peer to peer. Yeah,
I don't want to say
peer.
it. Yeah.
Well, I'm only buying it if I can play with my friends on PS3. Like I got some casual friends, and that's all they play is GTA or Skate 3. And that's the only reason
a fun game if you're with your buddies playing. If you have all your buddies in there, it's fun as hell. I love it. I love that game. It did have flaws. I'm not saying that the game was perfect. People lost their character. I didn't go through all that because I wanted to finish the story before. And by the time I had the story done and I did all 3 endings, then all the things were fixed. I didn't lose my character. I could see people's problem with that game though.
Yeah. I mean, some DLC is good. I've mentioned it before in the video. Some DLC is good, but when you're like buying skins and buying virtual money, I mean that's when it's not good. Cause
you don't want to hear Snoop Dogg like cheer you on when you shoot somebody in Call of Duty.
Hell no, man.
Oh, no, that's a joke.
It's only $3.
Now you got scrubs over here hyping up Advanced Warfare because skin species.
I want that bacon skin for my gun in Call of Duty. I think it's only for Black Ops 2 though.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
Watch Dogs. When I was at GameStop, the lady's like, she's like, "Do you want to buy the season pass?" And Ubisoft ain't bad with their season passes. I'm gonna give them that. Like compared to other people that want $50, like Ubisoft is $20. Dang, I don't mind buying that. And I think I looked more into the season pass for Watch Dogs. They give you a couple of cool modes, and I think you get an extra single player mode, which I feel that I should be able to play the game like the old games and unlock the game and get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this DLC, I feel I should play the game and be able to unlock that DLC. You know what I'm saying? Like in the older games.
Well, essentially, that's what DLC is just
Yeah.
unlockables. But, I mean, like Mizzah T said, there are instances where DLC is justified.
Like Far Cry Blood Dragon. I think that's great DLC.
I gotta play that.
Now, is that game like with Far Cry, like the other ones, or is that nothing to do with Far Cry, like the Ubisoft one?
Hey, man.
I don't know. I think you can buy it separately, can't you? I don't know.
No, but
separately.
is that like Far Cry Blood Dragon? Is that to do with Ubisoft's game, or no? It's 2 different games.
No, it's the DLC pack for Far Cry 3.
But it's its own
DLC.
game.
Right. It's kind of like Super Luigi U.
Oh, okay.
I heard the developers, they took it home after they released it, after the game was finished, and they just had fun with it, man. Like a couple of the dudes, they were just like, they must have been on some kind of drugs or something when they made that game, and I don't know.
Now
Looks
you're
fun though. I haven't
talking
played it
about
yet.
the one that it was like its own game, right? I think
Yeah,
I know
Blood
what you're
Dragon.
talking about. I'm not 100%. I'm there because there was the blood. I think I know what you're. I'm just asking. I think I know what you're talking about. I didn't know that was connected to Far Cry the game. I thought it was its own game.
No, it's you know, you can buy it separately, like
Oh, okay.
like Super Luigi U. You know, you can either download it for Mario U, or you can buy a separate game. But yeah, it's you know, it runs on that, you know, engine or whatever. It's part of that game. I don't know if I don't know. I bought it as DLC. I don't know if it runs standalone. If you have to have the original, I don't know.
No, you don't.
You don't. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of like, so it's like Super Luigi U then. It's its own game, even though it's also, it initially came out as DLC, but you can buy this separately and play that.
Yeah,
its own.
it's like its own game. You know, it's like its own. I didn't think it was connected to Far Cry the series. You know, the one we're talking about with the gay guy. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's part of Far Cry 3.
Okay.
Gay niggas.
No, we're not bashing. I just gave you my opinion to gay people. That's what pretty much I gave you. Well, I mean, I have gay friends, so if people say I hate gay people, I could bring a gay person on the podcast. But I don't know. Really, all the other. Does anybody else got anything else they want to talk about? There was something I seen that was kind of funny. I did see a video where there was this guy on PlayStation, you know, the Playroom. He was doing a Bible study. And now I guess people like to catch their Bible news from PlayStation on the camera. That's what they're using it as, like a Bible, you know, study. And then, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I guess it's getting kind of boring where they're going to have to start teaching preaching on PlayStation.
Yeah, you know, you ain't got no games to play. You can read the Bible.
Yeah, I go to Bible study now. I just click on it, and like, it was interesting. The guy was just going off about, like, you know, he's getting into his Bible. He knew his stuff, you know.
Maybe that explains the gay villain thing.
Yeah, maybe he was just preaching about it. I don't know. Trying to think of any. Somebody asked a question on the last podcast. They said, Dave, have you ever heard anything about possibly the Wii U ending this year? I wrote back to him. I did, but I think it's just a big rumor. You know, Nintendo would never do that, in my opinion. You know, that's something that goes around the internet. I'm just asking somebody's question that they left in the comment section. That's I forgot who it was. Miami Storms. You know, and I just think they people just like to say that Nintendo's going to have a new console out. You know?
Oh, okay. So let me speak on that. First, I'm gonna ask a question. What would be the point of doing that at this point in time? Because if they were to do that, that would cause more damage than anything.
Way
There's
more.
developers working on games still.
Right.
Right. It's
Nintendo's working on games for Wii U.
Oh, yeah.
and their collabs. You know, you can't forget
Right.
their collabs. But like that would put such a negative image on Nintendo. It'd be crazy.
Oh, they would go against their fan base that bought the damn thing, and they would screw over their. You can't do that. You
Right,
can't
no.
just drop this. You know, people that bought it. That goes along with the whole thing with the Kinect and all that too. To me, and Nintendo, what they did with the Wii U, dropping the price. Like the people that went out and bought the day one editions, they get screwed over. Now they got a Kinect for $3.99. I just you mean I had to go out there and spend an extra $100 like anybody else? I think Microsoft should give people a fucking game for free that went out and bought the damn thing day one. Same thing with the Wii U. I think we should
I
get a
don't
game.
agree.
Oh, you
I
don't
don't
think we
agree
should
at all.
get a game though for them dropping the price? I do.
That's part of
Sony
being an
gave
early
me a game one
adopter.
time.
That's part of being an early adopter. That's a risk you take buying the game buying the console day one. Because that's just how it is with anything.
Yeah, but
Not just video
Nintendo
games.
dropped the price within the first year. That isn't right. And then
That happens all the time.
Hey,
Not just with video game products. That happens with phones. That happens with computers.
Yeah,
that happens
that's
all the time.
true. I'll give you that.
So I don't know why people would get upset about it. You know, I would get upset about them taking the Kinect out and then dropping the price, because like you said, I think the Kinect is what differentiates it from the other consoles. You know,
Yeah.
that's a big feature. Just like that's the stupidest taking out the Wii U gamepad now and just giving you a Pro controller. I mean, that's just that takes everything unique about the console away. So
That's what I
as
asked.
far as getting upset about the price being dropped, I'm sorry. Don't buy it. Wait. Wait a few months, if you want to get the best price.
Well, last podcast I asked too, since Microsoft dropped the Kinect and it's cheaper, should Nintendo drop the gamepad? Make their console cheaper, and that's going around on the internet like crazy that Nintendo should drop the gamepad and throw in 2 Pro controllers in a game.
No, that would be pointless.
How about they utilize the gamepad instead of dropping it?
That's what they should do, right?
Because even Iwata has already said that they're going to be showing games that are going to utilize the gamepad at E3. So why would they take the gamepad out before they do that?
I can't go back. Like, I understand a lot of gamers, some gamers live with their parents, and they have their own room, they have their own TV, and they don't have a problem with sharing the TV in their households. So, off-screen gaming doesn't matter to them. But for me, when I come home, my wife is watching Real Housewives of this or that, and me being able to just grab my gamepad and throw some headphones on and play a console game, that's a great feature to me. Or I can sit down and watch a movie from Netflix. What she want to watch.
Also, some games off-screen multiplayer, like it eliminates the split screen.
Yeah, Call of Duty has that.
Well, the Wonderful 101, there's where I don't think it would work. Like, there's a certain part in that game where you have to use the Pro controller to go under the thing to figure out, where you turn the numbers. Mm-hmm. Like, don't they force you to use the gamepad at that point?
You pretty much got to use the gamepad for that. I mean, there's a ton of games that I won't say a ton, but there are a few really good games that I just don't see how you can use it. You can play them without the gamepad. Nintendo Land is pretty dead without the gamepad. Don't work. Zombie U, you can't play that. You need the gamepad for that.
Oh yeah, speaking of Zombie U, because I noticed that a lot of people mention what's that one PlayStation game? They speak to you through the controller speaker.
Oh, Dead Rising? That's Xbox.
No, that's a PlayStation game that does it. It was like a review I was watching when I said this.
Wait, what happens? I was getting echoed.
Like, in-game audio comes out through the controller.
That's Tomb Raider does that. Tomb Raider Definitive Version does that. Infamous does that.
I remember when they said that was a cool little gimmick, but I remember Nintendo's getting bashed for that same thing because people were saying that breaks immersion. Like they said that it added more immersion because it came out of controller, but I remember seeing that the things that the gamepad does breaks immersion, even though it's pretty much the same thing. When you play Zombie U, you had the little pad, and that's like you're walking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like what is it? Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. Like going from that to Origins was like a step down because it was so cool to be able to just pop onto the gamepad and use your different weapons, and it was so intuitive that way. And to have to go back to Origins and just have a damn map screen, and have to pause to pick my weapons and all that.
Well, that was who did Origins. There was Rocksteady didn't do it though.
No, Rocksteady did do not Rocksteady. Whoever did Origins is the same developers that did the Wii U version for our Armored Edition. It was the same. Yeah, it was the same company. So I was expecting, when they did that on Armored, they'll definitely do that on Origins for Wii U, but they didn't do it. And the game, to me, isn't as fun now. Like, I like Arkham City way better on Wii U than I do Origins because it was so immersive to have all that. Basically, your tool belt is in your hands on the gamepad. Batman's tool belt, and that was just a cool thing to have.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I
the case
agree
for
with you.
me.
I thought the Armored Edition was better than the Origins.
It's the
Except for
slow
that-
death of the Wii U.
What about like how Chrono was saying how people were very hypocritical with the Wii U? You know how the whole thing with the controller and PlayStation gamers were hypocritical with the DualShock 4. What about the whole thing with the Xbox that went on about PlayStation Plus that you don't get to own them games, but now with the games for gold on Xbox One, you don't get to keep them games either if you don't have that, right?
Crickets.
Yep, it's the same thing.
Hypocrisy. man.
That's very hypocritical. And that's like I hate to bring up his name, but I do watch the guy a lot, so I do support his channel. I do give him likes and all that. Next Gen 720 went on forever about, PlayStation, we don't get to keep the games. At least they get to keep the games. Now with Xbox One, you don't get to keep the games with their games for gold. It's you have, as long as you're paying for that, you get the rent. It's like renting them. But when you don't have that prescription no more, you don't have them games no more. But they're okay with that though,
Well, on 360, you don't really get to keep your disc-based games. I mean, think about it. You got a copy of Battlefield 3, and then you stop paying for Xbox Live Gold. That game is pretty much worthless unless you're going to play the 4-hour campaign over and over again.
Yeah. I wonder, like I was asking somebody yesterday, did they ever fix the thing on Battlefield 4 where you, if I'm playing the campaign and then I jump on the multiplayer, it erases my campaign? So what I had to do was start a whole new, I played on my other PSN account, my campaign, and then I play the multiplayer on my main one. And because you can't mix the two because you'll lose your campaign. Did they ever fix that?
No, that's why I sold that copy.
Wow.
Yeah, that pissed me off. I played the campaign for like, I don't know, 5 hours, and then I jumped to the multiplayer, and I went back, and it was erased.
How they allow that to happen without patching it or fixing it is just fucking ridiculous, especially since, the day I went to pay off my pre-order, there was a guy in there, and he was like, I want this shooter, but I don't really play multiplayer, and I'm deciding whether to get Battlefield or Call of Duty. And, like, he went for Battlefield for the campaign. And so I haven't seen the guy since he went and bought it, but I'm guessing he wasn't very happy with it if it kept erasing his fucking save files.
Yeah, it's not right. I'm gonna end. I gotta go right now, and Mr. T, I think he's gotta go too. I appreciate everybody being on the podcast. I thought it was a great podcast. I loved having Zael XV on here, Mr. T again, vvolfflovv, and RXL. It's a great podcast. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a gay hater. I just went on about it, but I don't hate gay people. But, I thought it was really fun today. I appreciate, vvolfflovv, can you sign out? Just, you just say your goodbyes. I just normally, I don't normally do, but I'm going to do it today.
Goodbye.
Well, you can say your channel and everything else.
My channel doesn't have a whole lot.
I think you have a good channel, man. I think it's pretty good. You need to check out vvolfflovv's channel. It's really good.
I like doing this show. Keep it real, man. Good times.
What happened?
I like this shit, man.
Everybody keeps it real. I appreciate you joining every week, man. Mr. T, say your sign out.
All right, fools. I had a good time listening to the Mizzah T show once again. I really enjoy these podcasts because it's a really diverse group of people, and we, like Wolf said, we keep it real here. So it's all good.
And RXL?
Yeah, well, it was fun to be in here. Like I always say, to the casuals, stay mad to the wealthy, and peace out.
And Zael XV?
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed my first attempt at joining the Dave's Had Enough show. Thank you for having me on the show. It was a pleasure speaking with all these people, new people.
It was great having you, man. I'm glad you joined. I hope you all join next week, and thank you guys for watching the podcast, and we'll be here next week. Later, guys.